It's Sunday, my reset and meal prep day in the kitchen. I don't do a full meal prep, but I like to get us ready for the next few days. We eat all our meals at home, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so this won't last us the whole week, but it definitely sets us up for 2 or 3 days. Honestly, you don't need to meal prep for a full week. Just getting through the first couple busy days makes such a difference and really takes the pressure off. I started with making Kathal Sabzi. Step 1 is to cook the onions, and when I say cook them, I mean really cook them down until they're golden brown. That's where all the flavor comes from. If your Indian dishes ever taste a bit flat, it's usually because the onions didn't caramelize enough and you also did not cook the tomatoes enough with the onions. So once they were ready, I added tomatoes, spices, and frozen kathal with a little water. Then I pressure cooked it for 4 minutes. You could do 2, but 4 works fine. If you're new to pressure cooking, it's always better to slightly undercook. You can always simmer it more later, but you can't fix mushy dishes. After that, I release the pressure. You can do it manually or just let it sit. Then I garnish with coriander. You can make it dry or keep it a little saucy. I like mine on the drier side. My husband likes it with a little bit more liquid, so I cooked it just until most of the water was absorbed. One dish done. Now let's move on to roasting tomatoes, onions, cashews, green chilies, and a cinnamon stick. I also added a bit of cardamom powder. I normally would have added a cardamom pod, but I was all out, so don't worry if you don't have whole spices. Powdered works just as well. This is my go-to base for a lot of Indian dishes. I usually blend this up once it's roasted and cooked down, let it cool, blend it into a paste, and I usually store it in a jar in the fridge. And if I've made extra, I freeze it in a silicone ice cube tray. The small portions defrost super fast and make weekday lunches and dinners effortless. I'll use this later in the week when we're tired or running late. Just blend it. You could add paneer, lentils, or veggies, and dinner or lunch is done in minutes. Now time for a snack, Jowar Mamra. We do buy snacks sometimes, but I try to make them at home as much as possible. They're fresher, cleaner, and preservative free. I heat up a little ghee, then I add my favorite spices, red chili powder, chaat masala, black pepper, and salt. Toast your spices on low heat. A gentle warmth will release all the aroma without burning the masala, and it really elevates the flavor. You don't need to cook your spices for long, just 20 to 30 seconds, then add in your Jowar Mamra. They cook super fast, but it also depends on your stove and the dish that you're using, but they definitely do cook quicker than makhana. So keep tasting as you go. Once they are crunchy and have a little bite to them, that's how you know they're ready. Add ghee and masala as needed. Set them aside, and once they're cooled, I store them in an airtight jar. They stay perfectly crispy for days, perfect snack, and they taste great on their own, or you could have them with some masala chai. I definitely had this next dish on my menu, but I wasn't sure if I'd be making the filling today or tomorrow. Then my husband told me he hadn't eaten breakfast and was starving, and that no one loves him, of course. So I started making the paneer filling for paneer rolls. Heat up a little oil, then add onions, ginger, and garlic. Let that cook for about 3 to 5 minutes, or honestly, just until the onions turn golden and smell amazing. Remember, always give your onions time to cook. That's the secret to building flavor in any Indian dish. Once that was done, I added in finely chopped tomatoes and cooked them down until soft. I also threw in some chopped spinach. I try my best to add in greens wherever I can. Then go in with all your spices and a splash of water to help them blend. Next, add your cubed paneer and cook for 3 to 5 minutes. Once it's ready, just slide it to the side of the pan. My pan was big enough that I could heat up the roll in the same one. If your pan is smaller, just remove in a small bowl. Add a little butter to your pan and toast the rolls on both sides. Then spread a mix of light mayo and chili sauce. Once the bread was warm, I added in the paneer filling, and that's it. This is the perfect breakfast or brunch item, and it also packs really well in lunch boxes. Although I recommend if you're packing it for later, maybe keep the bread and paneer separate so it doesn't get soggy. Some bread might be better than others for packing. This one that I used definitely got soggy pretty fast. You could also have this with some green chutney, and it's especially good with a cup of masala chai. Moving right along, the next thing I made was dal. I did a mixed dal with 3 types of lentils, and I want to show you how to double cook or cook 2 things at once in the pressure cooker. I'm using an electric pressure cooker, so I added the dal with my spices and gave it a good mix. Next, I placed a trivet inside and I set a small dish of rice on top of the dal. This method works best with lighter lentils that cook quickly, not heavier ones like chole or rajma. The rice cooks in about 4 minutes, so that's what I set for. After it was done, I let the pressure release naturally. That extra time helps the dal finish cooking perfectly. When I opened the cooker, the rice was fluffy and perfectly done. I set the rice to the side and removed the trivet. Everything is really hot, so take precaution when removing the trivet and the dish that you cook the rice in. My dal was a little too chunky, so I added a little water to thin it out. I added a squeeze of lime juice and then my tadka. I gave this a really good mix and my dal and rice are ready. I love using this double cook method. It definitely cuts down on cooking time and dishes. And that's all the meal prep and cooking I managed to do today. This took me about 2 hours and 44 minutes. I did some cleaning in between. I definitely wanted to do more, but I had to run off somewhere, so this will have to do for now. Even with just a few dishes done, it makes the week so much smoother. The fridge is stocked. We've got snacks and a few ready to go meals. So don't aim for perfection, aim for progress. A couple of home cooked staples can completely change how your weekdays feel. And so you're not running around like a crazy person and you're not stressed out. And that's it for today's Sunday reset, Sunday meal prep. I'll see you next week with more cooking and hopefully a little less chaos. If this video helped you, definitely give it a thumbs up and a like. Share it with your friends, and I'll see you soon in a new video.